Hi, this is a position from Chess Tempo, which I consider to be one of the greatest online sources for making exercises, chess exercises. Okay, I will first say where the pieces are. There's a king on g1 for white, a queen on e3, rooks on c5 and c1, bishop on g2, knights on f2 and c4, pawns on h2, g3, f4 and e4. Yeah, that's it for white. And for black we have a king on g8, a queen on b4, rooks on a8 and a2, bishop on b7, knight on f8 and knight on f6, and then 4 pawns on h7, g7, f7 and e6. And I think this is a very interesting exercise because, okay, first of all, I looked at it for 4 minutes, and yeah, then I actually gave up because I couldn't find a solution. And there's some things, yeah. First of all, if you want to find this exercise yourself, that would be great. Pause the video and maybe put the pieces on your board and try to work it out for yourself. I think you can, yeah, depending on your level, it can take a lot of time because I think it's really worth it. It's an interesting, very instructive exercise. So put it up. I will pause for 10 seconds now, not say anything, and then I will start with explaining what I was thinking about, I saw, and show you where I was wrong and how to solve it. So pause. Alright, I'm glad you tried to solve the exercise, and I'm very proud at you because you solved it without any doubt. You did. So you can laugh at the mistakes I made. So first of all, I was looking at this. I'm not a tactical expert, so I was a little bit confused. It's very, yeah, a lot of pieces all hitting something. Very interesting position. Only grandmasters have this kind of positions. Very double-edged, I think. I really couldn't say who was better, actually. Yeah, I know because the exercise is black has to win. Yeah, that black is better, but how to, yeah, why? What's his mistake? So first thing I always do is count material for an exercise that's useful, and then you see the material is kind of equal. Then I was looking at hanging pieces, but there's not really hanging pieces. You could say there might be a pin. Queen b6 was one of the first things I checked, but there's this annoying knight covering the b6 square. I also wanted to see if there were, yeah, I also checked if there were back rank issues, but I couldn't find any, to be honest. The bishop on g2 can always protect the king. Couldn't find any back rank problems. Also, if I wanted to do something on the second rank, I have to go with my queen to b2 or d2. And yeah, both squares are covered by this same knight again, so I was getting quite upset with this knight. So the next thing I thought, well, maybe there's a way to get rid of this knight, because sometimes, yeah, some tactics or some positions just collapse if you can, yeah, eliminate the piece keeping it all together. So I was looking at, yeah, maybe a rook to a4, or yeah, I don't know. It's actually not so easy to attack this piece. I don't want to sack a queen for it, of course. So I didn't find any way. I maybe also looked at bishop a6 or something, but okay, what happens next? It's very hard to say. It's not like if I take it that he will lose, then he just takes back with a rook, and yeah, I can't see what would be my advantage then. I'm afraid there wouldn't be any. Actually, there's even the hidden trap of the pawn moving to e5, uncovering attack on my rook and my f6 knight, so complicated position. So you have to do something really, really fast here. So, okay, one thing you see is that the queen is protecting the rook, and she's the only one protecting the rook at c5. So that was something I was thinking, that maybe the queen is overworked. Maybe she is not able to defend this rook against... yeah, she just doesn't have enough room. She doesn't have a lot of room. She has to stay on the diagonal, so... and there are only 2 squares. But okay, knight g4 doesn't really work. Because, okay, the obvious... yeah, the square is covered by the f2 knight. Very unpleasant. And I don't see a way immediately to... yeah, how could I make this move possible? I don't know. I didn't see it, so I kept on thinking. So the next thing I started thinking about was, well, this rook at c5 is not very mobile at the moment. Actually, if you start to think about it, he has hardly any square to go to. So if you look at the 5th rank, you can see, well, it cannot go to b5 and a5 because the queen guards those squares. It cannot go to d5 because that's covered by the pawn. It could go to e5, but knight d7 would immediately win it, I think. Or almost immediately, because we have other squares, but we have h5, and that's covered by the knights, and we have g5, but h6 would already win the rook. So so you see, if you would play rook e5, I play knight d7, rook g5, and h6 wins the rook. So actually, if I'm that struck me. So, and then I checked. Well, it of course has a file, and if you check this file, it has one safe square, and that's the c7 square. So I was thinking, well, maybe there's just a way to attack it twice, so I can protect both the c7. So both attack the rook, and then after that attack the c7 square. But yeah, there's not really a way. There is one way, but the problem is that you need the second knight, and if you play knight d7, rook c7 followed, then you can play knight e8, and then you attack the rook. But the problem is that at that moment your rook, your knight on d7 suddenly hangs, so he can just take it. So there's not really a simple way, I think. You would be obliged to play queen b5. Yeah, maybe that's something to quickly have a look to. Just a moment. Okay. So I suppose we play knight f2, d7, rook c7, and now queen b5. Yeah, you immediately have the problem with knight d6, I think. Yeah, you lose a piece. Or not completely sure. At least you don't win a piece. So this is not the solution. And yeah, I didn't find it, so I actually gave up. Still try to play knight d7 because chess tempo moves for your opponent if it's the correct move, and it said you felt a problem. Too bad. Actually, the grandmaster playing this, which is Racek Zbinek or something, is it 2600? He saw the complete solution, and it's very instructive, I think. So I told you everything I thought about, and I didn't find it. But it's a hard problem, I'm not ashamed. But actually the solution was in a line I dismissed, and it's knight g4. Okay, it's not possible immediately, but you can start with the exchange sacrifice. Rook takes f2. And okay, there's no intermediate moves, I think. So there's two captures. If white doesn't want to be behind the material, that's queen takes and king takes. King takes is a bit silly because then you have knight g4 check winning the queen, so you have to take with the queen. And now you can play knight g4. But okay, there's still one square left, and that's queen to d4, because that's the next move of white. And yeah, if you haven't seen what's coming next, you've just swapped the rook for quite a defensive knight, so it would not be a good exchange. Now, the next move by black is a rook d8, and that's great move because okay, if you're thinking very long, okay, like me, only 5 minutes, but still you would never spot this, I think, because you think, well, queen takes d8, queen takes the rook, and queen takes c5, and okay, I'm still an exchange sacrifice behind. But if you are a very good calculator, you would have seen that queen c5 is actually check, and that changes everything, because we have the smothered mate pattern now. I will repeat it very quickly if you don't know. So king f1 is going to lead to mate on f2, and king h1 also immediately loses due to knight f2 check, king g1, knight h3 check, king h1, queen g1 check, rook takes queen, and knight f2 checkmate. Okay, so that's the reason the grandmaster he saw all this so far behind, and so he saw that a rook d8, the rook could not be captured. So actually the best move here for white, it's not easy, there are a couple. You have queen c3 is possible, because then he can still put the knight in between, but okay, he loses 2 pieces for that. The best move is actually rook b5, and then the queen can take the rook, and here ends the exercise. Because still, don't get confused, if black would now take the queen, the rook, you still have queen c5 check, and the same story. Why did black take the rook? Okay, taking rook is +5 and exchanging taking a queen and wait, actually, why? Let's check. The queen was attacked, of course. I'm confused. So it's time to quit. Now the queen has to move, and black has won a rook and a knight for the price of 1 rook. So he has won a full piece, and his opponent resigned actually already after rook d8. Because still I think it's not so easy. How does it continue? Maybe for the last 15 seconds. Queen b6. So you see, that's actually one of the only defenses. Queen b6 at the end, and queen takes b6, knight takes b6 is the only way, because okay, the motive is still in there. Okay, but that's it. I thought a very interesting exercise. Thought to share you my thoughts. Bye.